Okay, so I've just written 32-bit Raspberry Pi OS Bullseye to a Samsung bar USB stick, and I want to do some tests comparing it to another Samsung bar USB stick, but this time with 64-bit Raspberry Pi OS. And I'm going to do some web tests and see which one performs the best. So let's switch into screen capture. Okay, so let's run NeoFetch first of all, and just show that it is on stock clocks. So it's showing as 1.8 gigahertz because this is my 8 gig Pi 4. And as you can see, it's weird on this. I noticed this. It gives different results. Look, it says ARM V, which I'd not seen before. But if you do it again, it comes up as ARM V7L. So it is the 32-bit OS. So let's close that down and let's copy in the first speed test. So this is Speedometer 2.0. Hit return and start the test. And it just runs through a load of tests, as all 4 of the speed tests I do are going to do, and then I'm just going to put the result in a little text file. So it's speeding up, but I can see the temperature still nice and cool at 41, 42 degrees. So from Wikipedia, Speedometer 2 tests a web browser's app responsiveness by timing simulated user interactions. This benchmark simulates user actions for adding, completing and removing to-do items in To-Do MVC. Okay, so that's nearly finished. There you go, so 16.7. So I need to save that result. And let's do the next test, which is speedbattle.com. So you can see most of the tests were pretty much the same. Look, not much variation in it. So let's paste that in. And this does it on its own, I think. Okay, so very quick result. So 389.59. Okay, so this is WebXPRT. This is a bit more of an interesting one to watch. Let's hit start, because at least you get to see something when this one's performing. So the previous test, Speed Battle, measures online the speed of JavaScript in your browser and shows a comparison to previous visitors. So you can actually compare the results to different results from other systems. So WebXPRT provides 6 individual workloads as well as an overall score. So it'll be worth comparing this to some other browsers on the Pi, so maybe Firefox to see if it performs better. And it'd be interesting to see what Puffin does, because Puffin is a cloud-based browser. I wonder if it will just storm through these tests, all sorts of like online homework hub. It is interesting watching it go through all these things, but you could definitely leave it up on your screen, making it look like you're busy when you're not. Okay, so all done with a score of 49, and I think what I'll do is copy all these tests in, because I think it's an interesting thing to compare the whole lot. It says the browser is Chrome 98, so I'll put that in again. And the last one is Wirple.com, start test. And this is interesting because it carries on until the frame drops below 10 FPS, so I won't move the mouse, I'll leave it as it is. Again, nice to have something to see when you're doing these tests. So Wirple performance tests for HTML5 3D applications. It tests performance in both Canvas 3D and WebGL. And it's finished. Okay, so let's just copy those results over. Total score of 422. So now I can save all these results and I'll put them on a USB stick and put them in the 64-bit Raspberry Pi OS so I can compare the two. Okay, so now let's do a very nice transition from 32-bit Bullseye to 64-bit Bullseye. Just need to install NeoFetch and then run it. And as you can see, Arch 64, and it's also reporting 1.8 gigahertz. Older Pi 4s will report as 1.5 gigahertz on this. They can overclock to 1.8 and beyond, but this defaults, as does the Pi 400, to 1.8 gigahertz. So speedometer first, and the target to beat is 16.7. Just realised I haven't put the temperature down the bottom here. So add remove panel items. Add CPU temperature, add, let's paste and go, and start test. The optimist in me says it already looks faster. Okay, result. So 16.7 becomes 18.6 on 64-bit Raspberry Pi OS. So definitely pleased with that. And again, consistent results, so definitely is running faster. Iteration 5, look, was right up to 19.01. And the temperature, a little bit warmer maybe. 42. It went to 44 then and back to 42. Okay, so speedbattle.com. Okay, so 392.64. Yeah, that is also faster as well. Not as much of a percentage as the previous test, Speedometer, but it's definitely an improvement. WebXPRT and continue. This one takes a bit longer than the other tests. And start. Okay, so it's just finishing up. Test 40 out of 42. Okay, so 57. The browsers come out the same as Chrome 98. I was hoping that would happen. Well, that's way better, look. So 57 versus 49 on the previous test. Okay, so it's in milliseconds, so the lower score is better. So 32-bit, 2243 for photo enhancement, and 1232, so much better on 64-bit. Organize album using AI was a bit better, 9232 compared to 8268. Stock option 622 versus 537 on the 64-bit. Encrypt notes and OCR scan 7449 versus 7255. So the 64-bit is winning on all of these. Sales graphs 1849 versus 1661. But interestingly, homework was worse, 5349, and the 64-bit was 5504. But the overall score did come out much better, so 57 versus 49 before. So yeah, definitely a win again for 64-bit. So I need to do the last one, which is Wirple. So let's copy that into the browser and start that. Okay, so that's all finished, and the score was 422 before, and the overall score is 512. So yeah, again, a lot better on 64-bit. I was hoping it would be this way, but I wasn't entirely sure. So test 191. Test 198, test 2179, test 2113, WebGL score 124 versus 127, and test 294 versus 108. Okay, so definitely 64-bit Chromium worked better than 32-bit Chromium in those tests. I need to really test some more web browsers. Before I do that, I'll just call up a terminal. I've just installed Cheese, sudo apt install Cheese, which is a camera app for Linux. And if I launch it, you can see that that's my webcam. In my previous video, if you didn't see my previous video, this is a tracking webcam, and it's a really great piece of kit. Right, so let's just minimize this a bit. There you go, that's probably a bit better. It comes with effects, and so a bit like the app that you used to get on a Mac. That wasn't an effect. There's bulge, which is very nice. There is also dice, edge, and it works really well on this. So we've got a flip, heat, very nice. Historical, I like this one. So it has that really old sort of grainy effect. Hulk and kaleidoscope, which if you get it right is pretty cool. Although this is a tracking camera, so I can't, it will track my face as I move it. Anyway, so I've just installed PyApps, and the reason I've installed PyApps is because I wanted to try more browsers, not in this video, but in another video. So if I go to Accessories and PyApps, there are loads of web browsers in here, and I'm not sure which ones to try. The obvious ones to me, the ones I've used on the Pi a lot, are Firefox and also Puffin. They're both really good web browsers. There's a separate section on PyApps for installing web browsers, and it's the 64-bit version of Firefox. Let's just move this up so I'm looking at the right part of the screen. So yeah, there's various different browsers in here. Obviously I've tested Chromium. Epiphany I haven't tested. Firefox, Min, Pale Moon, Quartz, Tor, Vivaldi. Oh, interesting to see that Puffin doesn't show up on there. Does that mean it's not compatible with the 64-bit? So I've used it with 32-bit operating systems before, but not with a 64-bit operating system. Let's just see if I do a general search to see if it comes up. Oh, it's a shame. So it looks like it's only for the 32-bit system. Never mind, but I'm going to do some more tests with browsers because it's been really interesting, and it's always nice to see that 64-bit's definitely working better. Anyway, I hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.